Hello and welcome to the Full Force Weekly, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury Editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. In this episode, I bring you all the news from the past week in the world of G.I. Joe. So what is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly, about half an hour earlier than usual on a Saturday. Hello, guys, and welcome to the show. I thought I'd go a little bit earlier just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room for the rest of the day. All right. So that's just me it's my own personal benefit. Nothing for you guys, I'm afraid. Sorry. But thank you for joining. And thank you for watching the show, for checking it out. I don't know. What am I saying? I don't know. Hello, The Real Zim. Hello, Jamie Lynn Parks. Hello, Josh Fig. Hello, Chris G. Hello, Bad Wolf. Hello, Felix. Hello, Joe. Hello, Alexandros from Cyprus. Amazing. Joe from San Mateo, California, and Raphael. Hello, Risky Business. Feel free as well. Hello, if you are from another part of the globe than I am currently either in or from. Let it be known where you're viewing this episode from. Lots of news this week. Not really much happened though, right? No, loads of news to talk about this week. Obviously, I've already done a massive news burst reaction to the fan stream. But I will be sort of going over those elements again today, later on in this episode, of course. We've also got more Higher Toys news. We've got Agents of Omega. That was what I was trying to think of. We've got other classified miscellaneous. And weirdly enough, for the second week running, minimal comics news. Now, last week we did have comics news. With the I think it was just New Comic Book Day Transformers, I believe, came in. But this week, nada. So I did actually pick up the Transformers movie adaptation issue 1, which is amazing. The animated movie comic from Skybound. So that was fun. Obviously nothing to do with, the Joe crew in this one. So there will not be, for the first week, and I don't know how many weeks, there won't be any comics news this week. Which is quite sad, isn't it? Because I do like hearing the bum 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 bum, but that's about half an hour removed from the show. Sometimes even up to about 50 odd minutes. I've done over an hour of comics news before in the past, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, enough of that faff. So I'm expecting a lot of comics news next week, definitely. Right then, we've got Big Bad Workshop first, so let's talk about that, shall we? Explosion, please. Yes, so Big Bad Workshop, in league with like about 15 other companies. I think it's is it Big Bad Workshop, obviously Big Bad Toy Store in that technically. But then you've got Grindstone, you've got Fresh Monkey Fiction, is it? Like there's so many different involvements with this one. But I have kind of enjoyed what they've revealed earlier with the sort of like adventure team kind of homage, shall we say. I did enjoy that quite a lot, that particular figure, which is out now, I believe, as well, right? As in out, shake it all about, do the hokey cokey. We say the hokey cokey and you say the hokey pokey in the US, don't you? I did find that one of those hilarious sort of cultural differences. I don't know why that's different. So in the UK we say hokey cokey, and in the US you say hokey pokey. And that blew my mind. In fact, I was all right with it, but I think it blew everyone else's mind that I told that to in this country. No, it's the hokey cokey where I'm from. But yeah, lots of usual kind of connectivity with this particular figure from Agents of Omega from Big Bad Workshop. It only says Grindstone. Gridiron, sorry, not Grindstone. I was saying Grindstone, but it was Gridiron. Gridiron are the company that do the weapons for this particular figure, I believe. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, Big Bad Workshop is the main kind of company connected to this. I'm pretty sure that the first one they brought out had all those other connections, though. Had like a bunch of different companies working together, like, I don't know, like Avengers coming together. In any case, this is a fun release, in my opinion. So this is Agent X, an explorer who got loft behind, who got left behind, survived on his own terms, and now moves through ancient ruins and lost treasure sites like a ghost. Nobody knows his real name. It's like Periwinkle or something. Nobody has seen his face. The wrappings say everything his file won't. Is he going to help the team when they cross his path? Maybe. Does he know more about the mission than anyone else alive? Absolutely. Drop your theories in the comments. We want to know what you think happened on that mission. That's kind of fun. So you can go on to Big Bad Workshops socials, and you can indeed comment on what you think happened here. The Agents of Omega Secret of the Serpent Temple Agent X exclusive will be available at Joe Fest Toy and Comic Show for $59.99, limit 1 per person while supplies last. So this is the Joe Fest exclusive as well. I looked it up, so you don't have to. Hokey Cokey is the correct. Oh, right, Hokey Cokey is the correct version. So it was changed in the US then. Is that what you're saying? And that's what it's all about, says Brian. Indeed. Chris G says, I'll miss story time. Yeah, no story time this week. Although I did read a whole section of text out. So technically that's probably story time as well. Yeah. Have I heard when the 112 Eagle Force is coming out? I haven't heard that, Big Jeff. I haven't. Yes, sir, we mucked that one up for you. Thank you, Bad Wolf. Anyway, for those just joining, my apologies. I went a little premature today, Kitty said. I went a little early because I just wanted to, relieve some pressure on the other side of the day, time crunches and all that. Anyway, great product images. I always loved the kind of these particular photo kind of like image shoots is what I'm looking for, I believe there. And yeah, this one is a cool one as well. A bit obviously a darker scene and very oh goodness me, what's the Liam Neeson movie? What's the Liam Neeson movie? You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Taken. I'm talking about the one where he's got the wrappings on his face. What is that movie called? Oh my, that massive, it is Liam Neeson, right? Darkman. Thank you, Figure Six Pack. It's giving me Darkman vibes. I can't believe I forgot that. Thank you, though. Joe says, anytime is a good time for a full force live stream. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you. All the Darkman comments are coming in now. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Jamie Lynn and GL, appreciate it. Thank you. So anyway, there you go. That is Agents of Omega, Secret of the Serpent Temple, Agent X, a Joe Fest exclusive. Yeah, and that's the loadout as well he comes with. There's actually a lot of stuff he comes with. That is a lot of stuff. So you got the figure with that sort of green jacket with the kind of the little kind of like the long jacket with the belt kind of style, brown pants, and the grey wrappings. And then, of course, you've got an absolute host of accessories. The snake getting reused again. I assume there's a redeco on the snake. I can't recall what the first one looked like in terms of deco, but I imagine it's a different deco on the snake. And of course, like a host of gear, you've got the kind of secondary straps that are removable, the stand. You have, what else have we got on here? I'll just look at it myself on the FU, and you've got the kind of M16, you've got the big sort of machete, you've got another very ornate curved dagger in sort of a kind of coppery gold. You've got a small dagger, a pistol, blast effects, of course, 4 of those, a beautiful map scrolled out. I love that. I love that map. That's such a nice accessory, especially with the kind of the actual map design on it as well, kind of tampoed on, or I guess printed on. You've got a beret, the alternate heads if you want to switch out, from the wrappings. They've never seen his face, and yet they've given us 2 heads to go with it. The neck ball, obviously to make it so that they're not wrapped on the alternate head usage. Are they 2 little like wrist bracelets, like watches and a bracelet? I think they are. A ton of alternate hands, gloved and ungloved, like loads. They're the same, I think, but the same. No, not all the same actually. Obviously, the gloved ones are very different because they've got that extra sculpt on them. But yeah, very cool indeed. Very cool. I like this. I do like what they're doing, this sort of like adventure team sort of homage nod. I like it very much, and I think it's a very cool idea. And oh, wrist pieces complete the glove look. Thank you, Scott. That makes a lot of sense. So it's really for the gloves, isn't it, more than anything else? That, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Cool. So that is Agents of Omega, Secret of the Serpent Temple, Agent X from Big Bad Workshop, the Joe Fest exclusive for 2026, of course, coming up soon in a couple of weeks, in actual fact. So good. Well, I hope everyone enjoys Joe Fest. I wish I was going. It would be cool, but alas, colleagues of mine will be there. Shout out Lenny, Henry, and is it Corey? I can't remember who's going now. I think it's Lenny, Henry, and Corey. Shout out to my awesome colleagues. And yeah, this could be pretty good base for an Indiana Jones German soldier disguise, says Sammy. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of customizable options here with these kind of pieces. The pants and the kind of jacket, very sort of like it's kind of like generic enough, but it's really they're nice. They're really well sculpted, but they're generic enough that you can use them for lots of different kind of characters. Chris H says it's also giving Unknown Soldier, DC Comics character. Yes, indeed, absolutely. Agent X looks like Firefly before he joins Cobra, says Joe Barrett. He looks like Firefly after he's joined Cobra as well. Long jacket with a short skirt. Yep. It's really just a long jacket with a belt. Great movie, says Josh Fig. Darkman, I haven't seen it in the longest time. But yeah, anyway. Looks like a cool figure. Lots of accessories, says Josh. Yes, I agree. More hands for the giant tote full of extra hands, says Chris G. Yeah, I do. I must admit, I have so Kate bought me a kind of like, it's like not a toolbox, it's like an accessory box. It's like a big plastic kind of tub with lots of little kind of drawers in that are kind of like you pull them out and they're little open kind of cases. And I've filled it already with classified extras where I empty the figure and the accessories out of the boxes. And obviously I can't display everything, so they all go in that little extra container. Chris H. Lenny Henry is now a boss fight ? They were Lenny and Henry, two different people, not to be confused with Lenny Henry. It's more like a sewing kit, Scott. Yeah, but it's big. It's like a big, clear, like case, briefcase style, but it's clear. And inside, you open it, and upright, you've got all these like little slots with all these I think it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, it's like 8 maybe for either size, but probably 16. So there's quite a few anyway, little boxes, and they're all clear as well, so you can kind of see what's going on inside. It's pretty dope. Sorry, I missed some comments, apologies. Unknown Soldier, that's a blast from the past, says Felix. You can blame that on Chris H. What else are we saying? This could be pretty good, but yeah, I've done that one for Sammy. My wife hinted she might get me to SDCC finally this year. Only 10 hours away. Fingers crossed. That'd be cool, Joe. Definitely. I'll be at SDCC, hopefully small press next year, says Josh. That'd be cool. Joe says, right on. Okay, I don't know. I'm doing that thing where I read every comment like I'm Ron Burgundy, when sometimes it's just people replying to each other and talking to each other. What's going on? Shouldn't you still be in comics at this point? Hello, Mark. Yes. In fact, no comics news this week for me to really get into, so I forewent it. I know there's still stuff to kind of talk about. There was still like cover reveals and there were other kind of things, but not like, directly necessarily. I'll leave that to you guys, Talking Joe, to get into the weeds on that kind of stuff. I need a box like that for my extra classified pieces. Do you know what, Carlos? Shall I just go grab it? You guys can hold fire for 2 seconds. It's only across the room. It's right here. It's right here. Oh, it's heavier than I remember. Yeah, just break everything. Amazing. It's heavier than I remember because it's full up now. Okay, bear with me. It's going to be hard to show on screen as well, because obviously I'm just a tiny dancer over there, but it's this. So this is the back of it. It's a case with multiples. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 16 of these like interior jobbies. You can hear it rattling around as well. And they are all full. So you no, that was the front of it. Sorry, this is the front of it. So you just unhook it, open it out, and inside are all of your little thingies. And I can see clearly. You probably can't see clearly, but yeah, each one of these is just like full of like bits and bobulants. Do I have any extras empties? Do I have any empties in here? No, they've all got something in them. I was trying to kind of do it so it was like, I'll put all of the heads in there, and I'll put all of the rifles in here, and I'll put all of the extra hands in here. And in the end, I was like, no, I didn't. One of my favorite ever kind of like parts and pieces kind of like storage solutions was back in the UK. I think it was, what do we call them over in the UK? I forget the name of the blooming stores now because I've been out here for so long. But your Home Depots and your Lowe's basically, but B&Q, it was called B&Q, and it was in Kings Lynn. I just realized I got a bit of dust on me from that because it's been over there gathering it. And it was in Kings Lynn, B&Q, and they had these like, it was like a tackle box basically, black with a red sort of lid, and it sat like flat on the ground, and you'd open it up and it would just be like open spaces, but they were kind of like modular, so you could kind of change the sizes of them. And oh god, I loved that because I had like a larger section for like big elements, like like for example, what doesn't fit in here actually, because there is obviously you're only talking about that sort of height. I can't fit things in like the polar bear's extra head because it's massive, or some of the ghost viper extra pieces, like the heads, the blast effects that are like 7 foot tall with curls on them and stuff like that. I can't fit those kind of things in there. But what I would have had in these old ones was like I modulate the size of everything. It's well dope. So that was a good one, and that was basically a tackle box, I think. But anyway, in any case, all fun and games when talking about storage of all this stuff. But yeah, and to be fair, this is not like I could definitely, I actually can see a ton of accessories that are not being utilized in a display capacity that could go in there. But I was like trying to be all like, this is going to be organized and everything, and now it's going to be more of a case of just dumping everything into it. But I could probably fill about 3 or 4 of these up, no problem, with the classified accessories. It's just there's so many of them. In fact, my Cobra shelf at the top is just, it's all that, like the display and all the bigger vehicles and everything, and then it's just I've scattered some of the accessories just all over the place just to make it like set dress it basically. There's so much. Anyway, that's enough of that. Nail and screw box organizer is a good search term to start down the stowage rabbit hole, says Chris H. That's a good shout. Talk amongst yourselves, says Scott. Yeah, I kind of did that to you a second ago, didn't I? Mark says your comics news could have been second print for Mask. I announced already issue 1 is out next week, 10th June, along with the next issue of A Real American Hero. There you go, done. Well, they can go to you for that news, Mark, can't they? They can definitely go to you for that, mate. But yeah, yeah. There you go. I've done it. I've done the comics news. That was quick. Excited for Mask next week. Oh, damn, that's going to be dope. That is going to be dope. Can't wait. Right then, that is Agents of Omega, storage, and comics news in one segment. You got to love that, haven't you? We love our tangents to sort of like coagulate into a news section here, don't we? Let's move into the next news item, which I believe is, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am, Higher Toys related. So, funny story, it wasn't actually Higher Toys news related, full disclosure. There is another story this week, which is massive, which I'm going to talk about after this one, but it requires me going back visually. So I've just skipped a bunch of slides is what I'm saying. So we're going to be talking about some fun Super 7 news a bit later on as well. I know, how did I forget that was next? Anyway, I'm an idiot. Next. Higher Patrol, no, Higher Python Patrol Crimson Guard is revealed. The exquisite mini 4-inch figure by Higher Toys was dropped in the week as a new reveal to go along with the recent Python Patrol releases of the Viper and the other one. What was the other Python Patrol figure that I'm forgetting? Was it the officer or the trooper? The Trofficer. I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was a trooper as well as the Viper. And now we've got the Crimson Guard. So I wonder if we're going to get like every single one of them. I imagine we will. So Higher Python Patrol Crimson Guard. This is one of those ones that just separate. Like this is one of those ones that kind of splits the fandom. I personally love everything about Python Patrol, including silly things like a Crimson Guardsman, who in the name gives it away, really, doesn't it? They should probably be Crimson. But now we're looking at this, and we're looking at Cadet Deming, and we're just going. So Crimson is just it just doesn't mean anything anymore, does it? Well, now I personally don't care. I think it's really fun. And I really like the fact that I love the deco on this. I love the deco, the design, the yellow on this. It's got a little bit of red on it just to kind of like, you know, troll people basically. But I've always loved the Crimson Guard Python Patrol version, and I've always loved Python Patrol as an idea. I'm a big fan of repaints, so this brand is perfect for me. But you know, like my Tiger Force and my Night Force and your Marauders, all that kind of stuff. I love it when there's a little sub team and you know specialists are kind of combined and put in a different area, but they look the same. They've got different colors. I don't know if that's just like I don't know what that means, but I really enjoy that a lot. So Python Patrol is just absolutely spot on for me, and I love this deco. I think this is so cool for the Crimson Guardsman. The Python. I mean, Python Patrol Guard would have been fine, wouldn't it? I like Mustard Guard figure 6-pack. That's great. Python Patrol Major Blood needs to be done. I agree, Joe. I think that needs to be done in classified, honestly. Yeah. I'll get one, but this is my least favorite Python Patrol deco, says Chucky Tinderbin. That is a shame. How dare you? What is my least favorite Python Patrol deco? I don't think I have one. They're like my children. And I don't have any children either. Well, I do. I have Annie. She's my child. But and I don't need to pick, do I, a best one because she's right there. All my children are the same. They're all dogs and they're all perfect. So I would say that's the same about the Python Patrol situation. Same for Tiger Force. I don't have a favorite Tiger Force, I don't think. Blizzard's up there because it's just so bonkers. And well, maybe I do. I think Tiger Force Outback is probably one of the most unique and brilliant Tiger Force redecos of all time. Also, to change his hair color, just absolutely fantastic. Old man Outback. These promo images look great. They do really well with the troopers, I would say. Higher. I think they're really, you know, cool figures when it comes to the actual troop builders. Always a little bit hit or miss with the characters that are at least showing their faces, I should say. I am surprised we haven't seen Python Crocmaster genuinely in the classified series. Maybe they'll do it in Higher first because they've got a Crocmaster in the Higher line. Maybe they'll do that to kind of like, you know, reuse the tooling and everything before classified get to it. I like this version of the Crimson Guard Python Patrol better than the classified, but nonetheless, I'm obsessed with all the Python Patrol in general, says Destro Designs. Is it different to the classified one? Or is it just like a tonal difference? Oh, it's a tone. Yeah, I would say it's a more muted yellow, isn't it? The yellow on the classified version is definitely a little bit sort of. It's a bit more. I keep headbutting my microphone. It's a bit more. It's a bit of a deeper yellow, isn't it? Like a stronger, brighter, more kind of candy yellow. Where this one is definitely slightly more kind of taking it down a notch, haven't they? Anyway, yeah, great images, cool figure. I like what they've done here. Oh, head sculpt design is different, says Paul. Is it? I suppose the deco's the same, but yeah, but the sculpt is different. Interesting. Haven't really noticed that. Yeah, that's right, Destro. Yeah, subtle differences, but the higher seems less caution yellow for sure. There's definitely that. They've definitely taken it down a notch in the brightness there for sure. And yeah, it is a bit more angular actually, Paul. You're right. Yeah, there's definitely a curvature on the Crimson Guard. What did I just knock over there? I just knocked something over. Oh well, I'll find out later, won't I? Yeah. Oh, this is cool. Philadelphia says, "How about the Lance Head Guard? The yellow Lance Head snake is yellow." That's a good shout. Lance Head Guard would be amazing. Actually, that would be a great name. Python Patrol Lance Head Guard would be an amazing. That's a really cool name. I like that, Philadelphia. Yeah, I do like that a lot. I feel that Hasbro is going to end classified at the end of 2027. Then, about 2 to 4 years after, Hasbro will start putting out 4-inch GI Joe figures, very detailed, and will start getting many vehicles. Says NJedi 88. I don't think they're going to end at the end of 27 because everything will be fine. Don't you worry. I do know that Chris Cox wants a new USS flag though, and he's the one in charge of the whole operation. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, Crimson Guard, High Toys. There you go. Here are some shots, obviously on the grey background to show you a little bit more sort of like detail. There's definitely a wash on the yellow as well, which it's weird because I think Hire often. So don't look at this figure and think this is what you're going to get deco wise, because Hire will often show you a figure that's got like wash and kind of some sort of like paint detail on it, and it'll turn out they'll just go and it'll just be a block yellow color. So don't always think that what you're getting is exactly what you're seeing in these images. I'm not sure if it's changed recently, but the first, I would say, like 5 or 6 that I saw being delivered of the figures were less weren't as good paint deco operations wise as we saw in these kind of like paint master versions. So just bear that in mind. I saw High Joes for the first time at the DFW Joe show. They look nice, but they're a bit larger than modern era figures. It convinced me I don't need Higher because of scale difference, says Carlos. Yeah, totally right. It's a significant difference as well. If you put like a Snake Eyes next to a Snake Eyes, you would see there is a vast height difference. Maybe like half a head, I want to say, of extra size on a Higher toy. And their weapons are a little bit larger, which is a bit odd as well. Like they're a little bit kind of oversized for the actual regular figures, for their figures, for the higher figures. So they're super massive for modern 4-inch figures. Just got off the Star Wars TVC live stream. $50 for 2 figures for 2 figure packs, says Leon. For vintage collection, ouch. Scott says, High Toys is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I like it. I really want to see in Classified the Shadow Guard done, Joe. Yes. So in Classified, the all black Crimson Guard, basically, yeah. We got the Twilight Guard. That's probably the closest you'll get. They might do that. I mean, I could see them reutilizing the Crimson Guard deco mold again. So I could definitely see something like that, and maybe like a retro card, or because that would be fairly easy to do, wouldn't it? Or just maybe like a troop builder pack where you had like one male, one female, and they were both in black. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, there you go. Next, there's a shot. There's a back shot. Kitty said. Again, the backpack is massive. You can kind of see how large it is. But you can put the rifle on it. You can also put the sword on it, and I believe the sword also goes on the side of the belt as well. It should. Well, I don't know that for a fact because it does obviously on the classified version. I don't know about the Higher Toys version. but there is a sheath, so I'd be surprised if they didn't do the same sort of connectivity. Now this is the loadout. You get the sword, the sheath, the backpack, the machine gun, the pistol, the spare hands, little dagger, and the figure stand, the Dio figure stand that they all come with and can be connected together utilizing those little H or I clips, depending on which way angle they're up. Right then, that's everything. I haven't done the grid yet because we're still, I mean, what, 42 releases now? The grid like I last created was 40, images, and that worked really well. But now we've just added 2 more, so I'm just going to wait for 2 more to get revealed this next week or whatever, and then do a blimmin' another section on the grid. But anyway, there you go. Not that anyone really cares about that, but it's just nice to see the whole group of figures, released so far. Right. Are we at the part of the show where we randomly name stuff we want yet? As in, I think what RKW says there is legit there. You can just do that whenever you want. Everyone seems to do that anyway, and that always takes me on tangents or takes me out of what we're talking about. What doesn't put me on tangents? Okay, we're going to roll into the next news item, which is Super 7 related. But before we do, let's have a message from our sponsor half an hour in. Let's do it. Order your Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasure Editions today, either at TotalToyBooks.com in the UK and Europe, Skeletron.com in the US, or Amazon in the universe. Right, moving on to Super 7 Visionaries. Yes, images leaked the other day of the Super 7 Reaction Plus Visionaries, Darkstorm and Leoric, the 2 leaders of their particular factions. We've got the Darkling Lords, and we've got the heroic other dudes, the Spectral Knights. I did know that. I'm a big Visionaries fan. It's just when I start talking without having done any preparation, my brain just farts, especially when I'm live on these kind of things. I'm such a Visionaries fan that I produced a track for a word burglar called Spectral Mike. Go check that out on Spotify right now or wherever you listen to music. Because it's an absolute banger. In fact, go check out the album Space Verse by Word Burglar, because I have 3 tracks on there, I believe, and it's absolutely amazing. If you haven't heard Spectral Mike, you're missing out. It's genuinely my personal favorite thing I've ever made musically in my entire life. But it's a banger, and Word Burglar's verses on there are hot damn. As a Visionaries fan, just like, oh, all my dreams have come true. So anyway, Visionaries images are here. Let's have a look at them. So this is the image that popped up, one of the images that popped up on a Canadian retailer. Was it GameStop? I think it was Canadian Edison GameStop. Obviously dropping a little early. I imagine these will be possibly at Joe Fest for a reveal, or they'll be at SDCC. I don't know which. I imagine if they're being sort of like leaked now, that Joe Fest will be a good place to see them for the first time in person, if we don't get loads of leaked images, that is. But yeah, here is the really cool card recreations as well for these, because Visionaries had some pretty amazing artwork and design on their cards as well. And for those that aren't fully versed, Visionaries were O-ring figures, but ever so slightly bigger, significantly bigger than G.I. Joe figures. I say significant. They were like, what, just over 4 inches, right? 4 and a bit, maybe 4, whereas G.I. Joe like 375. So there is a difference. They don't really work together in that particular sense, but they don't even look the same. So it's not like, the Visionaries don't look like, they belong in a GI Joe scenario anyway, even though Hasbro did try to force them all together um back in the day. And who knows, we've had Prismosians mentioned in the Energon universe in the Transformers comic, so we might get Visionaries in the kind of Void Rivals situation. But anyway, Visionaries, amazing figures with holograms as well back in the day. Still don't, I mean, with saying that they've got holographic power here, they've got like holograms. Brian has said to us in interviews that they will have, no, not with us. He said in interviews that they will have holograms. Was it in an interview or was it written? I think it was written down, but he'd mentioned in some form or fashion that they were going to come with actual holograms. And that is something that is, I just want to wait until I actually see what these figures look like, with what the holograms look like, because that could be anything from, it's such an interchangeable term when it could mean all sorts of different, cool things. If it's true holographic, that is kind of cool. Also really expensive. So yeah, anyway, either way, I would be interested to see what actually that means and what it looks like. We did get Leoric in modern 4-inch form in the Revolution box set that came with a bunch of different Joe 4-inch figures and Rom, and who else is in that set? Rom, Action Man, Dire Wraith, but it was basically Doc, wasn't it? But Dire Wraith, the Micronauts, Jetfire, and Matt Tracker and Roadblock. Hell of a set that was. So cool. Great fun action figure set, but it was sad that there wasn't a follow-up to that. I would have really liked a First Strike follow-up set that had like Thundercracker, or was it Thundercracker at the time? I think it was. Like you could have had Thundercracker as the main big transformer, and then you could have had like Miles Mayhem, you could have had Dr. X, maybe. You could have had Baron Ironblood, sorry. You could have had all sorts of different cool, opposite figures. Darkstorm as well to match up with Leoric. But it never happened, which was a shame. So anyway, that now we're here with Super 7's O-Rings, the Reaction Plus line. And we have some very cool pictures of Darkstorm as well to look at, so we can kind of get a little bit more detail. But as you can see, artwork wise, they've kept the same sort of graphic call outs. I like the corners, like the chopped corners of the card to make it sort of look more angular. I like the kind of like name blocks and call outs, very much like the old school kind of cards. But obviously artwork wise, you had these beautiful painted, incredible pieces of art for each figure, and like all of the different art that came along with it for the toy line was, I mean, it was all very dark as well, wasn't it? It's very dark and mysterious and quite scary, and really like lent into sort of like, I would say, the kind of like, I don't know, the eerie sort of magical element of it. And then the cartoon was a little bit more bright and bubbly, and it wasn't really as dark as the toy line suggested, I would say, or the artwork in the toy line suggested, but it was incredible. And even down to like the series 2 artwork. Now, by the way, I will be talking about this in way more detail with Adam and Pat on the O-Ring Roundup episode 3 coming soon. We'll also be talking, obviously, the other Super 7 stuff that's happened recently with the Ninja Force exclusives and the Wave leak and all that stuff. So we'll probably wait until after Joe Fest, just so we've got all the information at hand to kind of go into this stuff. But we'll see how it goes. We might even churn an episode out to talk about these initial like leaks and images and what have you, and then go into more detail following the big conventions. But you have to wait and see, won't you? There's definitely space for 2 episodes in the next month or so, isn't there? Let's face it. Right. Yeah, so Magic Holographic Power Call Out. I like that. Leoric and Darkstorm look fantastic. Like I said, the artwork's really good. It's slightly different in that the previous figures would have had a little bit more on show. So they'd have been smaller on the card, so you could see more of them of the whole figure, and they were kind of utilizing their effects, sort of doing a similar thing on the card here, but obviously a bit closer in. Brian Hickey, full force, love these. Shout out to Brian Hickey, who is on his travels at the moment. So shout out to Brian. Hope you're doing well, my good man. Yeah. Anyway, Visionaries, amazing, gorgeous artwork, and I'm really impressed with what they've actually done with the artwork too. It's not just like, you know, you know, we've had issues with the whole retro thing, with the retro artwork, haven't we? We've had issues with, Hasbro utilizing sort of AI to sort of like, fix art or even change it or even just do it from scratch. So in that sense, that's something that obviously that boils my urine in a massive way. Whereas these ones look very much like a lot has gone into them in the same way that the originals had that beautiful artwork. They're doing the same with these, so I'm down for it and I love it. So that's that. Badwall says, Chris, I'm going to need you to plan a whole episode around my proposal that Hasbro brings Spiral Zone into the Energon universe and then give me classified scale toys. No. That's cool. Spiral Zone's cool, but yeah, do you think if you think I've got the time to do that, Bad Wolf Media, you got another thing coming. Chris, do you know how the holograms are done? Are they true holographic images? We don't. That was the kind of thing I was talking about, Jamie Lynn, earlier with the holographic element. We don't know what it's going to be. It's one of those things where I kind of want to wait to see it actually in hand to make a decision as to whether I think this is, like good or not. But we'll see. We'll find out. And then I think if they are really true holographic, then I'll be amazed. If they're anything close, it's also fine. But yeah, we don't know is the answer at the moment. Okay, cool. Here is Darkstorm in all his glory. Now, what you may have noticed on the card shots of the figures, loaded up, they come with some like interesting accessories here. So we have obviously the staff, which I'm really glad they've included. It looks about the same size compared to the figure. It might be a bit smaller than the previous staffs, the original staffs. The original staffs were quite massive. Like the head of the staff was quite like huge. But I don't know. I'll have to kind of get the figures in hand to kind of like look at them next to each other to sort of gauge whether they've made the head of the staff a bit smaller. But hard to tell from these images. These are only renders as well, of course, but it's very likely going to be close to what we're looking at here. Of course, they've got the helmet, the removable helmet, which is dope. And just like the original, like very little deco touches on it, so it's just one cast color, which would have been cool if they'd have done a little bit extra, like like the artwork on there, for example, made it a little bit more sort of like the illusion of maybe some sort of kind of like glass or what have you. But I'm totally cool with it being very much like the original toy there. And then also that little section, that little kind of element, that little accessory, which I believe plugs into the back to kind of give it that. They've just basically separated an element from the sculpt, haven't they? I believe, and would just be like a backpack of sorts. That's cute. Kind of cool that they've done that just to give him an extra accessory, I guess. And then the weapon, which is just like Darkstorm's original, so which is nice. But that's dope. The original staffs could be used as fly swatters. They kind of, I think a lot of people probably utilize them for that. Sad we are not getting a clear colored animal chest accessory, says James. Yeah, that'd be a bit extra, wouldn't it? That would probably, you'd be talking about a much more expensive figure, more complexities in terms of how it's, how they put it in the on the card. It's a cool thing, but I think that's definitely more for something that would be a classified or a 4-inch modern figure. Would make more sense to do something like that. But I get what you're saying. It'd be cool to have that sort of like effect. But yeah, they're trying to kind of keep it to like the originals to a degree here as well, aren't they? I hope the chest piece is removable like the vintage one so you can mix and match, says Scott. Yeah, that was always kind of interesting to me. I can't tell from here, and the clip isn't on show, so maybe they're trying to streamline it a little bit more, make it all one sculpt so that the hologram just sticks onto the surface on there, and then the kind of element that's, that would have originally been attached is molded into the body. I don't really mind, really, but it would be kind of cool to have that little bit of removable hologram. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. I was as a kid, I always liked, like, yeah, unclipping it and what have you, but um I never switched them around, but only because of my, sort of OCD, I guess, for all the figures needing everything they come with, and they need, I always struggle when, even though I've been saying this actually changed a lot recently, but in the past, I never would have even thought of giving Sergeant Slaughter's AK to a snow serpent, but when they didn't get one, I'm like, "Well, it's happening because Sarge doesn't need that," and they clearly do. So, Sarge actually makes more sense with Dusty's rifle than he does with the AK, so I have no qualms about switching those around, but, in the past, yeah, goodness me, no. This is what they come with, this is what they wear, done. Um, the cancelled 95 Star Brigade line was getting close to Visionaries. Forget what they were called. Cancelled 95. Are you talking about the replicators? Because that yeah, that to me, that's more like that was more sort of Aliens meets Ghostbusters fright features than it was Visionaries. But I definitely get the kind of like the synergy there that you're talking about with Visionaries for sure, like the animals coming out of the chest sort of situation. Except in this case, they weren't holograms; they were aliens, and they were effectively replicants. They were aliens that like looked like Snake Eyes and Duke and so on and so forth, and then they would burst out into their true form, sort of thing. But yeah, if that's what you're talking about, I can't think of another cancelled 95 line that would have been sort of semi like that. But yeah, replicators were dope. And what, two ups, I think, exist of those and the artwork. But yeah, that would be freaking awesome. Synergy was Gem, says Jamie Lynn. Yes, you're correct. You're right there. The synergy is in Gem. Um, I will never yuck anyone's yum. Those lines are absolutely someone's favorite, but I know a lot of my favorite things in life are still of questionable quality. That's totally true. Yeah, for sure. Um, Sarge's gun came from Gridiron, says Christopher Pierce. Sarge's gun, what, the one that you've given the Sarge? I always felt that the female visionaries had the better gimmick with their spell shields rather than the banner staffs, says Chris H. Yeah, for sure. In fact, cannot wait, by the way, cannot wait for the female visionaries, Galadriel and Virolina. Again, brain fart. Sorry, of the highest order. Can't wait for both of them if they're gonna get to these. Like, I want these. I want Darkstorm and Leoric to be like. I'm definitely getting these two. I want these to be like super sellers because I want to see like Virolina, Galadriel. I want to see Merklin. I want to see everyone we didn't get. Some like cutesy alternative characters. I want to see all that stuff, man. I really do. But specifically the ladies because they got stiffed on the original line. Kitty said, "Yes, replicators was discussed in the O-ring roundup." Scott, you are absolutely correct. It's why I was so knowledgeable about it off the top of my head. um, and also the other thing that's kind of like the elephant in the room here, series 2. If we get series 2, it's game over. It is game over. I am like I'll be like that, as happy as a swine in shite. Anyway, there's the back of the card. And they've got the very, very awesome classic style bio card with the I'm not zoomed in enough, so I can't read it, and I don't know off the top of my head, but of course it has the what's the spell, the poem. the thing they say in order to activate their powers. The problem is, when did this get leaked? Was it recently or was it ages ago? Because I can't find it on my page. Oh, it was definitely after that. We'll get there. I definitely want to read this out though, in the way that they used to say it, with the noise that was happening behind them. Here we are. Here we be. And it says, oh, it doesn't have, I thought it, sorry, for some reason I assumed it had the poem on there. Darkstorm, this diabolical, corrupt lord of evil is committed to imprisoning the magic of the spectral knights for all eternity. Mystical personality, a swamp mollusk, depicting his slimy insensitivity toward all that is good. Magical totem. During battle, Darkstorm summons his magical power of decay to corrode spectral knight armor. I'm surprised they don't. I just assumed they put the poem on the back, but they haven't done that. That's really surprising. I wonder, there must be a reason for that. There must be a reason they have not included the classic kind of like, the nursery rhyme that they would have to say. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. That said, I don't know off the top of my head. It's been a long time since I've recited all of the Visionaries totems. I hope this line does well so that we get some characters that we didn't get in the vintage line. Agreed, Chucky Tinderbin. And vehicles and playsets, indeed. Yeah, there were some cracking vehicles that didn't make it as well. There's a catalogue, series, the same catalogue that the Series 2 shop in the Toy Fair one, I think it is. And it's got a couple of vehicles that didn't make it that look dope. But might be both flying vehicles for the good guys and the bad guys, the Darkling Lords and the Spectral Knights. Semi-organising my Joe Fest suitcase while waiting for classified segments, says Stanley. Nearly there, mate. Nearly there. Could the totem spells be caught up in IP rights cluster fudgery? Possibly. I don't know why, but possibly. I don't. You know what I mean? Don't know. They shouldn't be. They've got the license. Why would the license not include the cute little poems they used to say to ignite their powers? I don't know. That seems really odd to me. Anyway, I'm just getting in my head. I had Sindar's in my head. It was what once was whole now flies apart or something. But basically, yeah, I had Sindar's poem in my head because it's a banger, that one. But anyway, hopefully we'll find out at some point. But that is everything for Superb 7 and the Visionaries. Should we get into some? We'll get into some classified miscellaneous first, and then we'll move into the fan stream reaction as well. But it requires multiple explosions. Right then, classified updates. Now, lots of stuff happened. Obviously, we had loads of stuff. The fan stream obviously was the major scenario, of course. But other news from classified poked out, whatever you want to say, including this amazing stuff. Now, this also, I believe, Entertainment Earth have these up for pre-order as well, which might have something to do with why they showed up at US Port recently. But the G.I.J. CS Footsie Dickinson, FTSY Dickinson, which is the Arctic Bat, showed up in port information. So this was at the beginning of May, so a month ago now. So I wonder if these are filling orders that have been out there for millennia, because I know that I think Pat, shout out to Pat, also has an Arctic Bat still on pre-order that hasn't actually been shipped. So I wonder if this is all just to kind of complete that like long-awaited, missed orders scenario, or if they did another massive run to obviously fill out some of those orders and also create new ones. I don't know. But the fact that this is popping up in and around the kind of snow theme of 2026, I am not surprised at all. But I am, because it's an Arctic Bat. So I'm both surprised because this wasn't on my bingo card, but also it should have been on my bingo card because it's an Arctic Bat and we've just had a ton of snow stuff. So yeah. Um, yeah. That alt bat head is so good, says Leon. Yes, it is. And it's kind of done, it's got some work in as well, hasn't it? It's shown up in a few bats since, which is pretty cool. Um, it's strange they haven't mentioned it themselves, says Bias. Well, they're probably going to at some point. You know, it might just be one of those things where they have a plan which is scuppered by people like me who trawl shipping data through multiple agents to get as much information as possible. I'm like an info, like I would be like Galactus, but for info, just be just like sucking info. Kitty said, like or no, Galactus or Unicron. I'd be more like Unicron. This was an Amazon exclusive, says Stanley. Yeah, but they can do whatever the hell they want with it after the fact, can't they? Plus, like I said, it's been up on it. No, it's been up on EE for like the longest time. Arctic bat would make more sense in the turret of an Arctic hiss than a human. I agree with that, Carlos. In fact, how dope is an Arctic hiss going to look with a ton of Arctic bats on it? Although, who's got a ton of Arctic bats? Not I. I've got one. And I will always regret not grabbing a couple of those bad boys at least. Really would love the Arctic IG bat head on a blue ninja body for a Revanche Ninja or Ninja pack. That'd be cool, Chris. Yeah, for sure. Right then. Anyway, that is that. That's so yeah. Well, as Stanley mentioned with Amazon, keep an eye on Amazon as well for the Arctic bat. Let It Roll has 8 of the Arctic bats. So you ordered like 8 of the 10 that were allotted originally. No, Raphael got 4. Amazing. Andrew got 0. I have like 6, says Chucky Tinderbin. I do hope they do a re-release of it. Yeah, Crom, I do too. Anyway, that is that bit of information. Okay, everyone's telling me what they've got. 4. Okay, so lots of you got more than one. Lots of you are more intelligent than I was. You've had one on pre-order for 3 years, Scott. That's insane. Jay's got 3. Well, I'm glad for all of you guys rubbing it in there. Lightfoot's got 1. Nice one, thank you. And thank you for Lightfoot as well. Right then, anyway, Blitz has got 0. Hopefully, Blitz, this will be your time. You and Andrew Law, this will be your time to shine now that they've seemed to have, hopefully, they'll return, fingers crossed. Anyway, that is that. Another port arrival was that of G.I.J. OR.JJ Montaro, which is the Night Force Psych-Out figure, which obviously was name-only dropped a number of events ago. And yeah, and is on the listings, of course, as a Walmart exclusive. So we know that one will be dropping for the next Walmart CollectCon, which is on the same weekend as SDCC, is it? I want to say it's something of July, I think. But either way, Night Force Psych-Out is in port, which is very exciting. I'm hoping we get a render of this particular figure, or maybe even a in-hand sort of showing off of this figure this month would be really cool. If not, then maybe it'd be one of those ones well, actually, they probably would do a render reveal this month, wouldn't they, for it? Because it would be July, like July 23rd to the 24th. So they need to have some sort of pre-psych out before the actual release, I would imagine. Although Walmart do like to reveal their own things in this kind of sense, don't they? I know that the team do tend to reveal exclusives now before they come out, like Scarlet and Chabang, for example. And I know that they reveal, they revealed Beachhead and Quick Kick in advance at Toy Fair before Walmart had those up a long time in advance. So yeah, it's likely we could see Night Force Psych out in the coming weeks. Mahmood says, so a couple days back, did I say that potentially the hiss would have been initially a Crimson one, but Hasbro changed direction and went for Arctic line, or an Arctic one? Crimson would be cool. Yes, Mahmood. I believe that was the story that originally the plan was they wanted to reuse the his tooling at the end of the day, and effectively pivoted slightly, but it was one of those things where um there was like it was pretty quick in the turnaround. Do you know what I mean? It got to an Arctic Hiss pretty quick. So, but yeah, originally we had a listing for a Crimson Hiss. Is effectively the story, the long and the short of it. The listing that we had originally was for Crimson, that was inactive, and it became the Arctic Hiss with this new listing. Does that make sense? Stoked about Visionaries, about incoming has. Oh yeah, we're not getting HasLab this year, Mahmood. Just FYI, I'll be talking about that in a second, though. Um, wouldn't this be like the Dire Ghost Viper last year, and we didn't see the render until SDCC? Could be bias. I'm just like throwing out possibilities. But this is the next exclusive, and they usually do something before it's released. Not always with Walmart, because Walmart like to reveal everything themselves, but they have done some reveals in advance of Walmart exclusives in the past. I could see Psych Out showing up this month. Not saying that will happen though. Chairface was not the Crimson Hiss, Stanley. No, it was I can't remember what it was. It was one that was it's still up there. It might have been an unknown vehicle listing. And then I just turned it into inactive. We'll have a look in a little bit. We'll have a look at the listings in a little bit, and I'll tell you what it is. Toy industry still very nervous on outcome on petrol and thus plastic pricing. No one is moving yet, but no one is taking chances either. Says Leon. Yeah, so no HasLab, not surprising. Yeah, I get it, but I think there's a lot of talk about why there's no HasLab, but it's actually probably not that complex. I can't say anything anyway, but whatever. We'll have the answer late, like eventually. I'll take a history with Rip It as well, says Carlos. That would be dope. Yeah, it was unknown vehicle. Yeah, cool. Thought so. Irish Johnny B says, I honestly don't mind. Oh, let's get to the HasLab thing. There you go. So Night Force Psych Out has landed basically in port. And that just means that, imminent in the next, it could be between, we could see this figure or this render or whatever either before July 23rd or right on July 23rd. But effectively, the figures are ready to go now. And that isn't too crazy to think about, is it, in terms of the way distribution works? So next up, yes, the Despoiler and all other element items were showing up in Canada. This was courtesy of Hero something. Again, sorry, I completely forget now off the top of my head. But massive shout out to two, and I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so the Despoiler's been showing up, and the Taurus and Red Dog 2-pack, excuse me, and others as well. We have other images, but the original post, my goodness, how much stuff do I post during the week? It's insane, isn't it? Post, reshare, it's like constant. I'm glad. Heroes World, thank you. So Heroes World shared the this is the reverse variant, Leon. Yeah, this is the flipped variant. No, just because it was a selfie, I guess. But anyway, this is an image from Heroes World, who posted that they had new Joes in. They're in Canada, so they got it first. Here it is the right way round. So you got the variant and you got the regular version. So they were just showing the figures that came in early. They also got some Marvel Legends. It was the Iron Spider, Aaron Davis Marvel Legends figure as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, they got the Despoiler, they got Rocklaw, and they got the 2-packs of Taurus and Red Dog. Are they both Rocklaw? They are, aren't they? Yes. So exciting times. Do you know what's really crazy? I got a shipping soon notification regards to Rocklaw ages ago, and payment and all that kind of stuff. And yet everything else has come since, and that is the only one that hasn't sort of shipped yet. I am not going to get into I'm not one of those people, because obviously working at the other side of it sometimes, you can kind of, why there are reasons, the reasons why certain things are taking a while. You know what I mean? You know why, distribution is the way it is. You know why shipping is the way it is. You know why these things, like the issues that happen. So I'm not going to be calling Hasbro Pulse up and be going like, hey, where's my rock claw? Because I know for a fact that it's just not, doesn't technically exist yet for me to have one. But it will, obviously. But it's weird that they would pay, like, I'd have to pay for that one, and then all the other ones come in, and then that rock claw is still just like, you can't have me yet. But anyway, I know it'll come eventually. Same with the Taurus and Red Dog 2-pack. But I got Zanya and obviously the Chameleon. Still haven't opened that. I know. I haven't opened Duke, the 250th Duke. I haven't ordered. What's the other one? Sorry, I haven't opened the Ramp Rats either. What is going on, eh? What is going on? I've spotted Rocklaw in the wild at GameStop and Walmart, says Carlos. Oh, cool. So it should be coming soon then. Scott says, love the Nori Shriden Nerg, which is the Iron Grenadiers backwards. Brilliant. We better get a Moraine 27, says GL. That would be great. Big, beautiful watercraft, indeed, Blitz. Yeah, we always seem to catch up, then fall well behind. Same, RKW. Man, the UK has at least 23 pre-orders now, not coming until October. That's nuts. That's in the UK, yeah. That's crazy. So crazy. Anyway, next. Yes, now this is in relation to this No HasLab scenario. So BMAC went on his Instagram stories recently, well, his meta stories, I guess you'd call it, posted this mission report as we head into Yojo June. I'm just going to say it now because I won't address it on any of the fan streams. There is no G.I. Joe HasLab planned for 2026. My hope is that by sharing the conversation in the live chat can be about the products and reveals happening each week. I will address this decision more during our panel at SDCC. Well, we'll know at SDCC, we'll have more information, so that's good to know. We have pre-orders and render reveals every week. There is even a surprise render reveal tomorrow. We've already gone through this, obviously, for something that hasn't been name revealed yet. So that was fun. So yeah, and then it all leaked. And then he said, well, actually, it leaked before this. And then he said, yes, Cobra Commander will pre-order tomorrow, June 3rd. And if it wasn't clear, the crown is removable. Amazing. It is a fan channel exclusive and not a made to order. So that was, we know this already, so I don't need to kind of say it. But he did say it was not made to order, so that there was as much access to the item as possible. If when it sells out, I'm already working on a contingency plan for a second production run. So that's dope as well. Once the demand is there, we will produce more. If we use the made to order model for this, you'd all have to wait another year for this figure. By doing it this way, the first production run, which I planned a higher production amount on, will be in your hands later this year. I'm as excited for you all to get this as you are to have it. So that was a nice little bit of info regarding the Cobra Commander figure, and the fact that like a second run, if they sell out, is already planned, which is great. No HasLab took my extra cash to Etsy and Gridiron and the like, says Christopher. Lawrence says, I think they are taking a gap year before coming back with something huge like the sail barge big. That would be cool, man. I'd love to see the whale, or imagine if they did a classified sail barge just to really troll both fandoms, in actual fact. I love BMAC, but it's seriously wishful thinking to imagine the chat on the fan streams will be anything other than people bitching and moaning, says Badwolf. Very good point. First thing I do when I put a live stream or a fan stream on is I turn the chat off, because I cannot even. And then he finished it off, Kitty said, by saying, let's all have an incredible Yojo June. Stoked to have Toy Galaxy along for the ride all month long. It's been a massive undertaking having to coordinate all of this by myself this year. Lenny and Tony gave us some incredible reveals, which equates to 14 pre-orders in total across 4 weeks, including an all-new character. Give the month time to develop and let everything be revealed. The ramp up to SDCC is part of the plan. Yo, Joe. Nice. Love it. So very transparent, and in kind of like I used to find, like, when Emily was on the brand, specifically the Joe brand and not across multiple, but when Emily was on the brand for Joe, she was always really transparent, always putting out comments and messages and replying to people and just doing the Lord's work when it came to sort of making sure that everything was very clear and transparent for the fans. And I kind of appreciate that with BMAC as well. I appreciate him come. He didn't have to do this, did he? Let's face it. And he didn't have to say anything about the HasLab. They could have like let that linger, kept that sort of like chat or kind of like conversation or what have you, sort of like bubbling and going. But he just decided, no, let's make it very clear. This is the scenario. Boom, there you go. I like it. It's to the point. It's exactly kind of what I think I want as a fan. I want that sort of transparency. If there's an issue with something, or if there's a thing that is being talked about in the fandom, that I like it to be addressed if it can be. If it can't be, there's obviously reasons why some things can't be sometimes, but like, I don't know, I just liked it. And I like this. Hello, honey. Annie's in the house. Hi. Do you want to come say hi to everyone? Do you want to say hi to Annie? Come here, darling. You just coming to check on me, make sure I'm still alive. Come here. Come on. She's like, no, I'm just going to stand annoyingly distant, an annoying distance away from you where you can just about get to me, but you can't pick me up. No? Come on. Come on. Oh, she's just doing yoga stretches now in front of me. Anyway, everyone says hi, darling. Annie says hi to you guys. I think she's just coming to check on me. She's so adorable. Leon says, quick to the point, no faking. Cooking MC is like a pound of bacon. Chris is trying to say, if there was a problem, we'll solve it. I love all of the amazing... Did I accidentally quote Vanilla Ice multiple times in what I was talking about there? That's incredible. Oh, yeah. All right, see you, darling. She's just running back up the stairs now. There you go. That's that. Next, Lenny is back at it, giving us the inputs, even after no longer being there anymore. But again, great to have these little bits of kind of concept art and inputs and information and some extras. And as you can see here, the ropes go under the arm. Now, what's interesting is this image doesn't show it correctly either, technically, but the Cobra Commander, we'll talk about it when we get to the actual Cobra Commander figure images, but the arm should go through the longer ropes and the shorter rope should sit over the arm. But so it kind of goes between the rope section, but clearly that was incorrectly put together. But yeah, here is a great shot of the Cobra Commander sans cape as well. So you can kind of see the ropes. All right, cords then. I'll say cords instead. Anyway, yeah, there you go. That's Cobra Commander, the crown, the new head sculpt, which everyone I'm sure is very happy about right now. And a very cool actual Cobra Commander body as well, with obviously Mindbender legs, which I think work perfectly for this figure, personally. At least the boots, anyway. I think the uppers might be something different, but either way, I think it's a very awesome figure without the throne, but the throne just gives it that little extra garnish, doesn't it? Sammy says maybe we'll get Skyhawk, Armadillo, and Devilfish over the next year or so, and then HasLab returns in 27 with a tactical battle platform that can incorporate them all. I'll tell you what, if we got a classified tactical battle platform, I would cry, but also be very a bit happy tears, obviously. Scott says, Chris, I have a question about the crown. I don't care what your question is, Scott. I know what it is. Yes, it's removable. Yes, this is without the pauldrons or the little things on the old shoulder, on the shoulders. The chords are not correct. Well, yes, they might. Sorry, Noir Gatherer says they might be corrected in the actual product. I hope so. I'm not sure if that's the case. Epaulets, thank you, Crom. But will the chords be will that be fixed by the time the production figure comes out? I don't know. Maybe not. Or they might have to do a bit of change. They might have to change some things. I don't know. Anyway, it was nice of Lenny to do that, and he also posted the input of the throne as well, which is really really cool. Super detailed as well. It's a fun, really fun kind of dio piece, and I can't wait to can't wait to get it on a dio somewhere. It's going to be awesome. I'm gluing my crown down in protest, says Leon. That's hilarious. HasLab classified battle platform / coffee table for 2028. I agree, Chris. The second run would be corrected. Yes, Stan, indeed. That's for damn sure. Oh yeah, the Eaglehawk, sorry, the Tomahawk Eaglehawk and the whale. I said the whale initially, but yeah, Mahmood, I think my all-time favorite and biggest love and want is actually the Tomahawk, or the Eaglehawk as it's called now. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, there's an easy fix for the Cobra Commander as well. When you get the figure, heat the arm up, pop the bicep joint off where it meets the shoulder joint. So there's a shoulder ball thing here, then the bicep. That joint from bicep to shoulder joint, separate it there, not at the actual shoulder, but at the bicep. And and then you can kind of like push it through, like you can put the ropes down and then push the arm through, and it works an absolute treat. So yeah, you can do it. It's no problem. You just need a bit of heat. Bad Wolf says Robbo recorded his weekly rewind on Tuesday and he raised the crown question based on the photos. My thought was Chris is rolling his eyes right now and doesn't know why. That's funny. I love Robbo, by the way. I watched his weekly rewind's great, and he's always really cool to boss fight as well. So shout out to the awesome Robbo. Anyway, that's that. Now also Tony got in on the act. In fact, the threesome, the trio got in on the act of posting some of the kind of like the renders for Tony, the inputs for Lenny, and of course the sculpt work that Corey did on it as well. So they've all been getting into it this week. And here is Cobra Commander, a render with his throne, his snaky globe thing, the removable crown, the extra hands, the pistol, the dagger, and the staff, and of course the figure in the cape as well. Very cool. And then Todd has asked, is anything replacing the HasLab? You're just gonna see it in the line plan, basically, Todd, like the other elements that are coming through. Like we've got a lot of stuff already revealed, but there's going to be more stuff to come. So there will be things effectively, yes, replacing that sort of space for absolute sure, yes. But there's more stuff to come. We'll look at the listings later, and you can see where that kind of potential is to kind of to put it that way, I guess. I prefer the render that says April Fools at the bottom, says Bias. Yeah, that was Tony posted it initially and then was like, oh, I need to change that. I need to change that. Amazing. And then of course Corey's wonderful sculpt work as well. Shout out to Corey, Tony, and Lenny, of course. And here we can see exactly how the chords should go. The little chords resting on the outside of the arm and the longer chords going underneath the arm with that other cord attached to the button. It's very awesome. And I love it very much. Great little touch there. Oh, and look, a fixed crown as well on a molded crown on the sculpted in one piece on the head. I'm joking, of course. And then here's another shot of the new elements on the figure, and obviously the entire throne. Those are the elements that Corey worked on, of course. Cool. Very nice indeed. What else have we got for miscellaneous? Was there more miscellaneous stuff? Well, there's more Corey stuff. He does a great close-up, of course, of the detail of those snakes. Look at that. That must have been a nightmare, by the way, to actually like sculpt. So congratulations, Corey. That is next level detail, bud. Amazing stuff. Right then, that is everything for miscellaneous. We've got one more classified segment to talk about, and I'll probably breeze through it a little bit because we've already done a news burst on it, but let's get into it. Right then, the fan stream was, I thought, was fantastic for a first fan stream of the month. There's going to be a lot of other, obviously, cool things to come. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I think it was an absolute beauty. So obviously, Cobra Commander led the way on the fan stream with some gorgeous photography again from Shooting the Galaxy and Matt and Corey, of course. Just absolutely fantastic stuff here. And kind of like created this kind of Cobra Castle vibe, and the lighting and everything makes the throne and the figure look just sublime. So he did a great job on this, did Matt. Yeah. And I will say that, yeah, there was a lot of price discrepancies floating around on this, wasn't there? Like everyone had it for a different cut for a different price. It was weird. But that was obviously an error, and I think it was rectified eventually. As you can see, the figure here as well does not have the correct arm and cords combination scenario. So we have that's still like a little error where the cord's on the outside of the arm. How can a pre-order be sold out? Because the you order a certain amount from the factory. There's a certain monetary amount that a numerical amount that you order to be produced. So it's just the same as creating something and selling out. They just pre-selling it, but they have to have there has to be a number, otherwise, that's kind of situation you're in, and it costs a lot of money even to just turn the machines on again to do a rerun. So, and the other thing is there'll be logistical elements whereby this figure shares tooling that might be utilized somewhere else that is also in active, usage. So that's why a pre-order can be sold out, Felix, to kind of give you a bit more of an insight there. But effectively, you order a certain amount in just the same way as you would order, a certain amount until it ran out. It's the same thing. You have to have a stopping point because you've only produced you can only produce a certain amount. Sometimes what they'll do is based on the response or the pre-order like popularity, they will increase the numbers and thusly increase the production run by the factory. Do you know what I'm saying? So like they can do that in some cases, but Hasbro are different as a different bigger company. They do things like they have to do things in a certain way where they order a certain amount and then they stick with that, and then no matter what happens, they have to just do a rerun later when they can be in a position to do that rerun. Does that make sense? So it's like it sounds sometimes it feels like, yeah, they're just missing out on money here, but a lot of the time it's because it's physically impossible for them to do it. Thank you very much, N Jedi 88. Very much appreciate the super chat. That's very, very kind of you. And yeah, I very much appreciate both the comment and of course the monetary allowance you've put along with it. No, that's really kind. Thank you so much. Sorry, I just pressed the wrong button there. The other thing, as Bias pointed out there, is the figures are already made at this point, so that the run's already been created. Like I said, it's different for different companies, obviously, but with Hasbro, they work in a different order in a different way. So it's very much like that's pretty much the situation you're dealing with. Joe says, Yojo June has kicked my butt so far and looking forward to the next three. I don't know why I didn't say ass. I can say ass, can't I? Yojo Joan has kicked my ass so far and looking forward to the next 3 weeks. I hope kicked your ass in a good way, Kitty said. Make sure and hit the like button, everyone, says Joe. I appreciate that. Thank you. N Jedi says, Entertainment Earth has most of the pre-orders up and still able to purchase. Yes, actually, that's a good point. Chris, will the G.I. Joe X Transformers crossover continue? I don't think so, McFly, but I haven't heard anything confirmed or solid on that, but it's been so long since they did one. And there was going to be this whole plan of the Mobat tank as Optimus Prime with Hawk, but that seems to have just, stopped. And it could be, it's probably just budget reasons. I would imagine maybe at best it might return in the future, or they might drop it surprising, be a surprise drop this Yojo June and take everyone by surprise. But I don't know. Like, it's been so long, I just haven't heard anything from it. I heard that Hasbro had 7,500 units and those sold out. Where does this information come from, Eben? Like the numbers? Like that's really. I do think sometimes it's just pulled out of bums sometimes. Completely inside baseball, Chris, but is there a percentage of the factory order that they list for pre-order, like order 10K units and cut off pre-orders at 6K, so they have stock fictional numbers? Unfortunately, no, because what will happen is you'll never get it right. You'll never get the numbers right. You know what I mean? I think there's a buffer. I don't think it's that much. I think there'd be a buffer, but not that much. It'd be like a K or something. Hasbro doesn't know how many people missed out in the brief moment Ninja Force was available. True, Felix. True. Possibility of Dan Larson interview after Yojo June. Pretty high, actually, Scott. Yeah, I'll be talking to Dan most likely after Yojo June to get his whole thoughts on the whole thing for sure. I hope more ninjas become available. I missed out on Chabang and Scarlet, says Vuxnut. Yeah, that was a shame. I got in there immediately, thankfully. But I do know quite a few people, including our very own Justin from Generals Joe's fame, Justin Bell. He missed out as well, so I had to hook him up like a good friend. See, Justin, I'm telling them all about how good I am as a friend to you. I think the stock numbers can be found in the code for the website, says Crom. That must be where people are getting that from. But I would imagine that's more of a not random number, but they're definitely putting some like coverage in there. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll put in what it might not be the full number, is what I'm saying, but we'll have to see, won't we? Plus, it sounds like another run is coming, so maybe they had to do a certain amount. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's one of those things that you just have to speculate on, but have a little bit of knowledge if you kind of, in the industry. Do you know what I mean? Like, but again, it's different because Hasbro are like a massive company, so it's very different ball game entirely. Anyway, I said I was going to breeze through this, and I've just stuck on the same images for the entire time. I love that shot of Cobra Commander with his leg up on the side. That's beautiful. Here he is contemplating all of his errors over the years, holding his staff, Kitty said. Here's the throne, and from the back. And here some of those really kind of like extra shots, I call them, where it's like some like nice little ideas where it's like, yeah, let's get his cloak, his cape sort of draped over the side. Let's get his removable helmet over there so people can see that it's removable, and do the Inspector Gadget Dr. Claw scenario where you can just see his arm poking out from the side of his chair. And there he's looking out the window, giving it the big one. It kind of looks like something out of Game of Thrones, that. It really does. And pun intended on multiple fronts. And of course, they had the figure in the studio as well, which looks great. And again, we got multiple shots of it all the way around, including that incredible detail on the back. Beautiful stuff. Also, I just realized I've got to line something up because there's more coming. Yeah. And that is, once we've looked at all these images, great shots of Anthony Petrie's artwork here as well, which he posted online. I think I shared those as well. And yeah, I love the artwork on this one. And the process that Anthony does with the throne in the background and the commander sitting in it and all the different kind of like stages, phenomenal. Do those white circles at the back of the throne allow light through the crystals? No, it's one like solid piece, so it's all sculpted in one piece, and they're just deco hits on the front and the back. But yeah, it's just one big sculpt basically. It's a beautiful sculpt on the throne. I think Corey's done a great job. And then, of course, we had the file card pop up very recently as well. So thanks to the G.I. Joe Socials for posting new file cards. Always fun to have these. So Cobra Commander absolute power, total control of the world, its people, wealth, and resources. That's the objective of Cobra Commander. This fanatical leader rules with an iron fist. He demands total loyalty and allegiance. His main battle plan for world control relies on revolution and chaos. He personally led uprisings in hotspots across the globe, responsible for kidnapping scientists, businessmen, and military leaders, then forcing them to reveal their top level secrets. Cobra Commander is hatred and evil personified, corrupt, a man without scruples, probably the most dangerous man alive. I love the artwork with the flames as well. That's freaking amazing. Again, the card is very, I think it lifts from the original. There might be some elements of change in there, but it looks pretty standard from the original Cobra Commander card. Intelligence, ordnance, experimental weapons, and of course, birthplace unknown, of course. And Mark in the chat, Mark Beasley, who does these wonderful, does the copy for the classified series, amongst other things, says, you got it, Chris. It's the original, obviously, Cobra Commander info, but on the new sexy file card. So thank you very much, Mark, for the backup on that one. I'll probably need you in a second again. We'll go with Deep Six next, shall we? Yeah, so again, this figure is great. Tony the Tiger, great. He's a big old boy. Some people were kind of like saying, you know, is it that much bigger than a 6-inch figure? If I turn into a rapper again. But yeah, this is a chonker. He's huge, not just width wise, but also height as well. I did see a really fun image online where someone had transposed a regular 6-inch figure, like made it, you know, kind of messed the opacity to like limit, have it maybe look transparent a little bit, so you could see the original figure over the Deep Six figure to make it show you the difference in sort of size. And yeah, it's pretty big. So he's a big boy. He's not as big as a Fluffy, by the way. The Fatal Fluffy, I believe, is 8 inches tall and is the biggest figure in the line so far, the Fatal Fluffy. It's bigger than Big Lob. Big Lob is a millimeter, I would say, a millimeter taller than Nemesis Immortal if you put them back to back. And the funny thing is, if you were to shave Big Lob's head, he would be shorter than Nemesis, because Nemesis is, without hair. He's just got that kind of like bald cap situation. So it's really just Big Lob's hair that's putting Big Lob above Nemesis Immortal in height. A lot of extra detail in that, but I did the comparison of the two, lock-legged back to back, to make sure they were, totally upright. And and Deep Six is obviously not as big as a Fatal Fluffy, but he's sort of in and around that sort of Big Lob area, between Big Lob and a Fluffy, a Fatal Fluffy. Anyway, great shots again. Love this. And the launcher doesn't work, obviously, but you do have a harpoon sort of missile. You have a launcher, and you have the rope that connects to a loop on the what do you call it? The old friggin', I just said it already, like the missile or the harpoon, that then also connects and wraps around the launcher too, which is pretty dope. Fatal Fluffy's height versus snake armor. I don't know. Measure a snake armor, JR Parker, and you tell me, because Fluffy's 8 inches. So whatever snake armor is, it will be in comparison to that. I haven't actually compared those two things, unfortunately. Sold out on Deep Six also for size of Deep Six. The articulation looks great, says Eben. Yeah, sold out as well, but I think he's available in other areas because he is a mainline release. So you should be able to get him pretty easily. He's just sold out on Pulse, I believe. He might also be sold out on other places, but I think he'll definitely be available, readily available, I would say. It looks like the harpoon hardpoint is only on the left forearm, but there's no issue. Yeah, I haven't double checked that, Chris H, but I believe I've only ever seen it on the underside of the left arm. So maybe it is only there that it connects to, and then obviously the backpack as well. But I have never seen it attached to the right. I just assume they probably would have just done two, honestly, but maybe not. But I haven't checked, so no. Beautiful. Look at this. So if we look at the other figure, the other arm, yeah, it doesn't look like there's a spot for it, does there? So maybe it is just on that left side, which doesn't really matter, does it? At the end of the day, it still looks dope. He's currently on BBTS. Cool. And available on Amazon. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, this one, if you can't get him on Pulse, you'll definitely be able to get him elsewhere. I really do love the vintage dome look, the kind of Krulos from Dino Riders kind of vibe. But I also can't get enough of that new helmet. I think it looks so cool. Definitely has more sort of like astronaut vibes than it does diver. But I mean, he's always kind of had a bit extra about him. You could definitely see Deep Six in space with no issues there. And yeah, the image on the right is so dark with that head as well. Oh, it's crazy. Sorry to backtrack, Chris, but I just realized the hooded Coco's scepter is the same one that came with Serpentor. Yes, it is. Great reuse, as it appears he has taken back over from Serpentor after making him an iguana. Yes, it is Serpentor's staff. You're absolutely right. I'll probably go new helmet, says Crom. I like when the figures are more updated designs. Yeah, this is one where I'm gonna have some fun. I think this is definitely worth grabbing a couple just to have the sort of the dead head kind of used in some way, but then also like multiple like helmet display options are pretty cool. But yeah, I think personally for myself, I love that new helmet, but I might have to go classic just because I like the thought of having a classic Deep Six, in my classified collection. Do you think they'll do a retro? Do you think they'll do a retro Deep Six just with the dome helmet and like a squidgy what do you call it? Like when them what is that thing called that you press that then helps him like dive and rise and what have you? That would be freaking hilarious. Tiger Force Deep Six, Scott, would be insane, and I'm here for it. Anyway, yeah. Can they even fit him on the card? Well, that's the point, isn't it, Bias? That was my whole joke. Probably not, but it would be hilarious. Obviously, it would make no sense. And there he is in the studio with the dome helmet on. Again, I do love that look. Like him and Ace. Bellows was the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Chris H. Yeah, like that. Him and Ace have just got that sort of like weird dome helmet sort of vibe from that era that I just love. Anyway, that's great. I'm well into it. Deep Six written on the backpack, he's great, and the articulation is actually very good. This figure is really chunky, and love that dead head is so dark, man. And then of course we do get another file card for Deep Six, Malcolm R. Willoughby. He is a master diver with a secondary specialty of small craft pilot / motorized. Birthplace Baltimore, Maryland. Deep Six never won any awards for being friendly. Became a Navy diver so that I could be alone. Enjoys bottle cap collecting, solitaire, and the New York Times crossword puzzles. Only 12 out of the SO Navy divers passed the strict requirements for the coveted diver position on the Joe team. 8 washed out in the practical application testing. Of the 4 finalists, Deep Six could hold his breath the longest. Torpedo says, down in the depths where light doesn't reach and the water pressure can crush you like an eggshell, that's where Deep Six likes it. Kitty said. Lovely stuff. Brilliant. Awesome. Great. There you go. Not much more to say about that one. Moving on. Snake Eyes, the Varmint, and of course the Trouble Bubble with the Viper. We only got these 2 Hasbro only have them, but the 2 promo images that don't seem to be anywhere else. I'm keeping an eye on the sort of like the platforms just to see if they show up on any of like Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, even Pulse itself. But I would love to see some promo images for these more than the 2 that we got on the live stream. This one's great. This one kind of replicates the box art to some degree, obviously at nighttime though, with the light emanating out of the pyramid in the background, which is really cool. Chris H says every SEAL seems to be an a-hole in their bios. What did the SEAL team ever do to poor Larry? I bet he's got some stories. They should print the file cards on the back inserts they use. They really should, Todd. You could definitely give us these file cards with the figures. Why not? Like every other company does like file cards on the back of the cards. Like I just don't see why it's such a problem. Anyway, then we have this particular shot of the steel core version of Snake Eyes. I keep bumping into my background and it's making the most annoying noise. Sorry, guys. And of course, on the varmint, very cool image on this one as well. Again, I wish we'd got more of these, but we did get to see them obviously at New York Toy Fair and in the studio for Yojo June. But we also get file cards. So Snake Eyes, it looks like it's ripped from the original. Yep. Snake Eyes was tempered on the anvil of life until he was dangerous as a razor-edged sword. Yeah, this is the same information from previous Snake Eyes cards, but Stealth Viper will have a little bit of different stuff going on. So they're various, obviously. They're infiltration specialists and sabotage secondary. A subset of Cobra's infantry backbone, the Stealth Vipers have been equipped with specialized multi-layer body armor and gear that enhances their infiltration capabilities. Wraparound acrylic composite helmets with built-in communications gear are standard issue. Their modified stealth flight pods avoid radar detection and scramble most surveillance equipment signals, rendering them largely invisible to their enemies. These trouble bubbles excel at raining down aerial mines, missiles, or cannon fire from above with little or no warning, highly effective at causing trouble for their enemies. Very cool. Every time I hear varmint, someone's biscuits are burning. I like it, figure six pack. Anyway, that is the Stealth Viper card back. And we do have a couple more because obviously we got Scarlet and Shebang. Now they went up for pre-order yesterday and on Target and of course on polls for like 36 seconds. I was fortunate enough to get in on Scarlet and Shebang. So yay. But you know, like I totally understand that people like, you know, weren't able to, because I think this was this was probably in the 5-minute club, wasn't it? Or the under 5-minute club, which I'm also a member of. Self-deprecation. But anyway, yes, so love this set. This is like, you know, two figures I really desperately wanted in classified, with Scarlet, obviously Ninja Force Scarlet and Chebang. And I can't wait for the rest of the Ninja Force, which inevitably should be showing up, shouldn't they, with more Target listings in the future. Sorry, guys, I can't multitask for crap. If you're going to send me a message during a show, I'm probably going to read it and then just go completely sideways. So either send it afterwards if you don't want me to stop completely thinking about anything, or yeah, just hold fire for a second. Anyway, yeah, cool little image on the back, of course, the render image. But what this is the problem I'm having at the moment with classified, right? And it's definitely a selfish thing, right? I love, more than anything, I love when we get Easter eggs, homage, and even stuff that isn't necessarily in the line or coming in the line, Kitty said, but just in this, like the brand and like what have you. There is an Arashikage logo on the side there, so it's Arashikage Temple. Cool. It's the same location we've seen on multiple figures in the last couple of, you know, however many's. But we are not seeing as many Easter eggs, call outs, homages, episode kind of nods. We're not seeing that as much. We were seeing it almost every single figure at one point, or at least once or twice in a wave. And now we're just seeing the same rendered backgrounds from a different angle, like a different area of this location. Same with the you know, the pyramid sort of background. And I think what's happened is I've just been like spoiled to death when it comes to this stuff. Like, you know, we've had so many cool little background nods, little kind of, you know, like I said, like we had Snake Eyes on a mountain in the background of one, which had everyone thinking it was Bushido as well, including myself. But obviously it was Snake Eyes because it was mimicking that episode where he's standing on the top of the mountain sort of thing. You know, the sword from that special episode, from that Deke episode, where Snake Eyes has that special sword. So like, you know, all of these different things that was just in you know, the Slice and Dice background. But that wasn't that long ago. But it seems like every single time we get new figures now, it's like, well, we're in the same location, but we don't have any. But there's nothing in the background anymore. We don't have any, like there isn't like a ninja in the background, or like an like anything else. There isn't a snake armor in the background. There's never been a snake arm in the background. I've just made that up, and it was funny that we actually got snake armors on the snake armor render, wasn't it? Um, oh yeah, I just I kind of feel like we definitely need to have way more sort of Easter eggs, like for sure, because it's absolutely killing me, honestly. Um, and I think one of the reasons is because of the constant shift that Hasbro keeps making, you know, the like constant layoffs, constant changes. Um, it's been a very like weird and definitely disruptive year, more so than any other, and that's saying something. Um, and I think it's one of those things where you kind of like go, yeah, has Hasbro laid off the Easter egg specialist as for D2? I think it's a matter of just bandwidth, is what I'm getting at. Like, you don't have enough time to research and think about or put in something that might be like cute and put it in there. It's just a matter of getting this stuff done and getting it done to, a level that is appropriate, and then moving on. And that's kind of what it feels like to me at the moment. Like we had bloody Junkyard in the background of the Valkyries. We had the Valkyries in the background of what is it? Low light, I think it was, right? We've had like loads of really cool, even if it's just, figures we've already seen before incorporated in there. And I don't know why they're not doing more of that. It just seems like that it feels like it's been like there's been a change as well. Like it's, oh, we're not doing that anymore. Let's just leave it generic or just location based, etc., etc. And it just upsets me a little bit. I want to see more of that cool kind of like homage, Easter egg, extra sort of thing. That's kind of why I want more than anything. Um, anyway, that's that. It's such a rant for no reason, but I feel like I needed to say that. Then, of course, we have the white background shots and the loadout that they'll come with. A lot of stuff. Someone has mentioned Chinese weapons as well. I don't think there's not really anything that says they can't use all sorts of different weapons. Is there really? Like, I think it's the same kind of thing with the Joe team in general. Like, they have like rifles and weaponry from all over the world. It's there's no reason why Ninja Force can't have some really cool Chinese as well as Japanese weapons. Like in my opinion, the fact that it's all very what's the word? It's not real, so it's not like real world necessarily, where it has to kind of stay real world. But I get the point for sure. I just personally I don't really feel like it's that much of an issue. I'd love a ninja. I'd love a Masters 3-pack. That'd be amazing. Chris, do I think we'll get Yakuza Storm Shadow next, since we're going to the desert next year? I would love that, McFly, but I have not seen anything in regards to, and again, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but I haven't personally seen anything in regards to that particular Storm Shadow in the future. Could be though, like in the further future, but certainly not in the near future. I agree, Chris. Bring back the Easter eggs, please, says Eben. Couchboy says they're hidden. You're just not as good at finding them. Zanzibar is under Scarlet's ponytail. Of course. Perfect, Couchboy. More New York ninjas, please, says Christopher. Yeah, that's dope. Like Nunchuck. So, yeah. Okay, cool. Next. There's the shot of them side by side. Not and again, not many promo images. We just got these two from the stream, which again really upsets me. I want more, guys, please. But again, I will also say, like I said, based on what I think the reasoning is, I'm not going to force them to. It's just one of those things I've noticed, and has definitely it's definitely tempered my excitement for what I used to be like when something new came out and we got to delve into the background and all that kind of stuff. Here they are. This was really funny. I think it was well, I won't say the name, but someone said a really funny joke the other day, where it was Scarlet, and in this shot, it looks like Scarlet and Chebang have just robbed a party city and are running out of the door. And I found that really hilarious, because it kind of does look like that. They're wearing masks for a start, and they've got all the weapons. It does look like they've just robbed a party city. But again, great stuff. I love these heads, these extras, especially that tiger mask. Oh, that is sick. Not the Kung Fu Panda one, guys. That everyone's saying in the chat. McFly says that Storm Shadow was in the background of the Desert Snake Eyes art. Actually, it was the retro Storm Shadow, I believe, and it was just one of those things where they were just playing. They weren't like it wasn't like this is going to be next. Like sometimes they'll do those homage things, or they'll do those little elements, and it won't actually mean anything. And in some cases, obviously, it does. You know, it's just around the corner, like Norgahide on Metalhead's art or render background, and so on and so forth. There are examples of both of those things happening. But yeah, it was really just like a bit of fun more than anything else, for that Desert Snake Eyes anyway. And then of course we've got the in studio shot of the figures looking great. And of course, file cards. I'll start with Scarlet. Now, it looks like it is the classic. Yeah, I think it's the classic Scarlet back story and text, which I'm not sure if it's the classic Ninja Force Scarlet backstory. It must be, right? I should have checked beforehand. I thought I'd recognize it when I read it. Let's move on to Chebang anyway. Sam Laqual. This will probably be the same. A former disciple of Onahashi, the master swordsman of the Arashikage ninja clan, Chebang forged and owned his own personal hook swords, precisely balanced for his ultra-secret technique known as the silent backslash. Chebang developed this ominous form by swiping at flying bats in the deep caverns of a remote mountain range. It is so devastating that no one who saw him use it ever lived to tell about it. Amazing. Chebang joined the G.I. Joe team as part of their covert Ninja Force unit. He has taken a sworn oath of silence for reasons known only to his second cousin Storm Shadow. When he's not engaged in deep meditation, he uses his expert sword skills against the evil forces of Cobra, dispatching them quickly, efficiently, and with honor. Brilliant. Yeah, so that's Scarlet Chebang. Is Chebang using the Gung Ho Buck? Seems familiar. I don't know. Don't actually recognize it. I don't know. Someone will have to let us know in the comments, but it might be a lot of brand new stuff. Anyway, we also got images of the Fluffies. Of course, we've seen those, talked about those. I'll skim through this because we have covered that in massive detail already. They'll be available at San Diego Comic-Con while supplies last on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, they'll be up on Pulse after the show, usually the week following. Same with Cadet Deming and Shipwreck. That will be available at San Diego Comic-Con as well. Same situation as the Fatal Fluffies. Quick Kick Torso is what people are saying for Chebang, so that makes sense. Where do we access these file cards? They're only currently available, Marneus, in the stories of the G.I. Joe socials, and then they don't last forever and they disappear. So when people have saved them and then posted them, I think we've done that. Lots of other people have done that as well. So you can find them on Facebook groups and what have you. But the idea really is when you see them is to just take screenshots. Honestly, that's probably the best way to do it. They don't exist in any sort of location yet, but you never know. And then, of course, we got the render reveals, which revealed that Grand Slam is coming with the HAL, one of the worst kept secrets in the Joe fandom, that wasn't it? But the HAL is massive, by the way. Look how tiny they've had to make Grand Slam. That should give you an idea of how massive that thing is. Like, he's got to fit on that seat, so good luck. He comes with the helmet, the rifle, the pistol, and of course, the blast effects for the HAL. That's massive. And I'm kind of excited to see it attached to something like a Vamp or I was going to say Ore Striker, but it's going to be hilarious on an Ore Striker, isn't it? Yeah, hilarious on a Vamp. And then, of course, we have Action Man, the greatest hero of them all. 90s Action Man, no less. And this is a beauty. This is mostly, they mostly come out at night, mostly. This is mostly Outback with, obviously, new headpiece, new head sculpts, and Alpine and Outback accessories combined. So you've got Outback's backpack, which is cool. We've got the Action Man logo on it. The Action Man logo on his black shirt as well, which is sick, and a classified logo on his orange cap. When this figure is all geared up, by the way, it's glorious because you've got the color break of the orange on the rope across his body. You've got the flashlight orange as well on the side of the leg. You've got the orange handle of the dagger sticking out as well. So there's lots of orange pops on this one when the gear's all on him. Including, of course, the pickaxe handles, which obviously hook into the back of Alpine's secondaries that he's wearing there. The orange carabine is a nice touch as well. And then, of course, you've got the grappling hook and the shovel, which both clip onto the backpack as well, which look really good. The grappling hook will also include the rope too. So you'll have that on one side and the shovel on the other. And then, yeah, everything else he can pretty much wear or hold. The strap of the rifle goes over his arm, so you can do that as well. Yeah, he can carry everything apart from his extra head, of course, which he also comes with some goggles, which is nice too. So it's a cool. I like this one. This for obvious reasons, Action Man UK, a heavy nostalgia vibe, and it just looks great. In all honesty, I love this figure. This one's going to be a deluxe. So anyway, just heads up on that one. Then, of course, we have the Tan Clutch with Vamp Mark II with the Snowcat weapon system. Obviously, it's a retool of the Vamp. And then, of course, you've got some extra elements like the doors and the roof, which I think they've reused from the Stinger, maybe. And then, yeah, so this was a no-brainer. It was always going to be coming down the pike, wasn't it? And here we are. We've even got Clutch in his tan gear with he's got t-shirt on. It just looks like he's sleeveless in Seattle from a distance, with his helmet, of course, his steel core helmet as well, and all the other little accessories like the fire extinguisher, the axe, and then his kind of his weapons and wrench, his rifle, pistol, and wrench. So there you go. Excited for that one as well. Character name reveals are interesting, weren't they? So we got the Legacy Avalanche Response Unit, which we were told will not actually look like this. It will be decoed differently, which is very cool. But this is effectively the art for the Legacy figure itself, which is awesome. And then we also, so that will be the next Legacy listing, which we've got unlocked on our listings as well. And Dusty and Sandstorm from obviously, you know, in this particular image from the Deke cartoon, but also, you know, like we had the figure, and yeah, it was a really kind of popular version of Dusty, following his first version, of course, and second Tiger Force version. And we get an animal companion, so can't wait for that as well. Now, leak listings 2026. We unlocked those elements on the old on the list and everything. I've moved things around a little bit. You'll see I've done some housekeeping. So I've moved the inactive listings on their own over to the left-hand side. We've got the unknown vehicle listing, which is inactive, and the unknown 2-pack inactive listing, which was originally the one we had for Shipwrecking Cadet Deming. So they're both inactive listings though. So they've been moved over there. And also the fact that that particular vehicle listing ended up becoming the Arctic Assault Hiss listing, which I said earlier on the show, that's what's happened there. So see it as an extra, not as a something we've lost out on, if that makes sense. Although it was originally a Crimson Hiss listing, but they obviously went a different direction with it. And I think probably for the best. It would be cool to have a Crimson Hiss, I reckon, but yeah, it makes sense to have an Arctic one, I would say. Then, of course, we have the unlocked Avalanche Rescue there, Legacy Hank. We have Dusty and Sandstorm, which is the Linda Pet listing. They're unlocked now. We're just waiting, obviously, for those last 3 retro listings to get revealed. I would say either Yojo June or SDCC is when we'll see what they are. But we'll have to wait, won't we, on the old renders reveals. Now, the last Target listing is another 2-pack, of course. And that is, I can't wait for that to come out, but that will be the last Target. That will be the next, so obviously the most recent Target one has been Shebang and Scarlet. The next one, which I think is Fall Geek Out, that will be when that listing, will closer to that time is when we'll find out what they are. Who knows? They might reveal them. SDCC would be a good time to reveal those, I reckon. Like render wise, or even name onlys. Walmart exclusive. The last exclusive there is obviously for the back end of the year, but we can't reveal that just yet. The Race 2 pack is another one that I imagine will probably show up at SDCC or around that time. Same with her Tundro, but we might be seeing these things in advance, so they might get unlocked in the listings before they actually come out, if you know what I'm saying. Benton is another one that, again, I think is kind of second half of the year. And then the other two unknowns, I've kept them in because for a while I was thinking, they're probably just going to be like, they're probably just going to be like, nah, they're not going to do those. And then one of them turned out to be her Tammy vehicle, which was the Vamp 2. So yeah, I'm keeping them in until we hear otherwise. What else? Obviously, Grand Slam with Hal is now unlocked as her Dorno. And of course, the SDCC and NYCC listings there all unlocked. Shipwreck Cadet Deming, Fatal Fluffies, and Tomb Raider. Right then, I think that's pretty much everything. Vamp Mark II price, I don't know yet, Christopher. I'm not sure. It's probably going to be over $100 though. Yeah, what Bad Wolf says. Is the Snowcat shipping this year? Yes, Todd. It is. Anyway, that's everything, right? For the listings 2026. 2027 unchanged, but as I mentioned before, we do have another Ninja Force 2-pack from Target and another Night Force listing for Walmart as well, so obviously more of those to come next year. We'll have more listings uncovered eventually as well, so we'll add to this list. But yeah, it's just basically a bunch of red at the moment, so it doesn't really mean anything to anybody. Now, as far as the name-only reveals go, we've updated that to include Dusty and Sandstorm and of the Avalanche Rescue situation, so that is now updated. Still waiting on Iceberg, Night Force, Psych Out, Rugged Duke, Lara Croft, Toxo Viper, Mistress Armada, all in good time though. Digital renders have changed a little bit, so obviously there's some SDCC stuff now, which obviously is Shipwrecking and Polly with Cadet Deming. I've now put them in sort of like their separate sides. Versus 2-pack connectivity with the San Diego Comic-Con logo, and I've also incorporated the Fatal Fluffy into the same block to insinuate that it is part of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, not to be confused with the 2-pack that's connected there. Anyway, yeah, it was supposed to be like a nice visual, but it's probably going to be more confusing now. And of course, yeah, Action Man, Grand Slam, and Clutch and the Vamp all added as well. So there you go. That's what it looks like at the moment, and I'm sure this is going to change, obviously, over the next week. So excited for Wednesday already. And then, of course, Battle Action Force. Oh yeah, sorry, I've gone too far. That's the end. We're going into shout-outs now, so I can finish this extraordinarily long episode now. Let's do it. Hang on. Yeah. Right, here we go. Bumper episode to an end now. Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasure Editions, as we mentioned before, you can get them from TotalToyBooks.com in the UK and Europe, Skeletron.com in the US, and Amazon everywhere else. They're beautiful, wonderful books. Go get them. Also, shout out to Articulated Points, Pat and Phil. Pat will be on our next O-Ring episode, which I think I've decided we're going to do a pre and a post Yojo June situation. So we get 2 episodes out of post Joe Fest. So we get 2 episodes out of that period of time for sure. They've done an episode as well, a recent kind of add-on or additional episode, continuing on with completing the G.I. Joe manga, which you can check out on their YouTube channel, link in the description. Please and thank you. And also shout out to codenameiowa.com. Get all their cool stuff from their website, of course. And related to that, AR, Assembly Required, the in-person convention from November 13th and 14th at Des Moines, Iowa. More information to come, of course, but they have just kicked off. So previously at Assembly Required, part 1. After infiltrating Cobra Island, the fan-picked squad of Joes known as the Assault Recon Team faced off against enemy forces, overcoming challenges at key locations across the landmass, recovering evidence that Cobra was in possession of non-terrestrial technologies, and ultimately uncovering clues to Cobra Commander's ambitious plot to spread Cobra's evil beyond Earth. Dubbed Project Massive, Cobra's latest invention takes the technology of Destro's original teleportation device, MASS, and amplifies it with an unearthly energy source to create a transdimensional space portal. And then part 2, acting on intel provided by an anonymous informant within Cobra, the Assault Recon Team successfully confiscated a secret letter from Cobra Commander's private safe. This sinister missive revealed that the existence of an effort to harness an unknown power source capable of energizing the space portal and expanding Cobra's empire on a galactic scale. Upon regrouping back at base, the Assault Recon Team deployed to Space Station Delta as a staging ground in preparation for a reconnaissance mission to the moon to investigate Operation Eclipse. Comms link was lost and all transmissions ceased shortly after the team confirmed their intent to dock with the station. This is all related to Fans in Command Operation Space Chase, which is now... So basically, Assembly Required do a really fun thing where they get the fans involved, right? And they make this wicked cool narrative around the whole show, and they allow you to do a little fan vote, which is now live on their socials, which we've shared and posted about and all that kind of good stuff. So you can right now go and check that out at codenameiowa.com or Codename Iowa on Facebook and so on and so forth. And it's your mission: choose 6 recruits to join the Action Rescue team, AR team, a special force prepared to head into the unknown and bring our missing soldiers home. Pick the crew and prepare yourself for Operation Space Chase. The top vote getters when polls close June 30th will receive the Cell Pop illustration treatment for our Assembly Required 2026 card back set. So they basically get you guys to choose the figures, not just for the mission, but for the whole theme of the stuff that you get at the show as well. So it's all a big fun thing regarding the the actual in-person event and the merch and the product that they produce there. So it's all fun and it's all awesome. Go get involved. It's great. Right then, next, shout out to Skeletron.com, of course. You can get their RoboSkull Mark IIs right this second. I believe the Red Shadows Assault Troopers are still sold out on their site, but they are having them in stock at a number of different events. So you can check all the details out on their socials as well. That's it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on a bumper episode. Sorry, it was going to be big because, of course, we had the fan stream reaction. But like I said, I kind of wanted to breeze through that a little bit based on the fact that I covered it in massive detail in the week. We had other things to discuss as well. So it's like a big bonus episode for people if you care for that. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow for our patrons. And probably in the week, I imagine the news is going to be coming thick and fast, Kitty said. So I will be on hand to get as many news bursts as possible out to you. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, I think you know what to do. 1, 2, 3, full force. Later. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.